Hi guys, hope you're well. Good to be back here sharing the books that I've been reading. So let's get into it. Some science fiction wants to inspire you, some want to warn you, and then there are books like this one, Exodus of Evil, which simply want to disturb you. Today we're diving into Exodus of Evil, Book 1 by James Flynn, a novel that takes the familiar idea of a generation ship and turns it into something deeply unsettling. So who is James Flynn? James Flynn is a UK author from Kent, so south of the river from here, and known for writing dark, speculative fiction that blends science fiction, horror, and psychological unease. He's not interested in neat genre boxing or comfortable storytelling. Flynn also runs a YouTube channel, which I'm a big fan of, under his own name, where he talks about books, writing, and the ideas that influence his work. It's very much an author-to-reader space. It's reflective, candid, and often hinting at the dark themes that surface his fiction. This isn't a polished marketing channel. It's a closer to a writer opening the door to his very workshop. And Exodus of Evil feels exactly that kind of story that grows in that environment. So let's talk about the main theme here in the book. You've got the generation ship called Conservation. So at the heart of the novel is the generation ship Conservation. This isn't just a ship carrying people. It's a self-contained ecosystem. You've got animals, plants, insects, entire systems of Earth life preserved and transported across deep space. The mission is clear: travel to Proxima B, a potentially habitable world after Earth's decline. Conservation isn't just about survival; it's about preserving what humanity was, and that's where the irony begins. So let's talk about the plot here. The story centres on David Kingston, a zoologist whose work is deeply tied to animals aboard Conservation. When communication with the ship is lost and disturbing signs begin to emerge, Kingston becomes our way into the mystery. What he uncovers isn't a technical failure or alien threat. It's something far, far worse. And this is basically a slow burn descent into moral collapse. The horror doesn't come from space itself. It comes from people, systems of control, and what happens when isolation removes accountability. Let's move on to another key character in this book. You've got Dolph Veale. And let's also look at the abuse of power. One of the most disturbing elements of Exodus of Evil is the character Dolph Veale. Veale, and I've used this term a lot in previous YouTube videos, he isn't a cartoon villain. He's intelligent, charismatic, and very, very logical. Over time, he becomes the embodiment of unchecked authority. This is where our readers often draw parallels, not explicitly stated in the book, but with the likes of real-world authoritarian regimes, including places like North Korea. Veale's leadership shows how power can become self-justifying, how cruelty can be reframed as necessity, and how ideology, once isolated from dissent, turns monstrous. This is a power trip taken in its absolute extreme. So let's talk about now, tearing the rule book out with this book. James Flynn is not interested in playing it safe here. Exodus of Evil contains graphic scenes of cruelty, including animal and human suffering. These moments are confronting and deliberately so. This is where comparisons to the late Iain Banks, his book The Wasp Factory, often comes up. Not in the plot, but in spirit, I guess. Like Banks, Flynn explores cruelty, not for cheap shock, but to force the reader into uncomfortable reflection about control, empathy, and the thin veneer of civilization. That said, make no mistake, this is extreme fiction. Flynn tears out the rulebook and commits to fully to see his vision, even when it risks alienating the reader. And let's be honest, this book might not be for everyone, and that's important. I really want to stress that. Exodus of Evil is, it might not be for you, because if you dislike graphic content, intense psychological horror, or narratives that offer no moral comfort, this will really test you. Some readers will find it bleak, others will put it down halfway through, and that's not a failure of the book, let's be honest. It's just part of its design. And let's talk about why this book is clever. I think it's generally clever because it weaponises a classic sci-fi trope. Generation ships are usually about hope, endurance, and the future. But what Flynn has done here, he's flipped that idea and asked, what if preservation itself becomes the problem? What if saving life doesn't save humanity? The horror isn't random, it's systematic, built into leadership, ideology, and isolation. And that's what lingers when you finish this book. So my final thoughts on Exodus of Evil. It's brutal, provocative, and deeply uncomfortable. It won't be for every reader, as we've established here, but for those drawn to dark, boundary-pushing science fiction that interrogates power and cruelty, it's very memorable, and it's, I've got to say, a challenging experience. So, if you like your sci-fi, fearless, uncompromising, and psychologically sharp, this one, I would say it's worth your time. I can't wait to read part 2 and 3. So if you've read Exodus of Evil, I'd love to hear what you thought. Did it cross the line? What was the point here? I'm really, really intrigued about his other books, and I can see myself reviewing more of his work in the future. So as always, take care, happy reading, and I'll see you in the next one.